Hello, my name is Rowan Millar, and I'm running for president as an independent write-in candidate. Um, I guess I differ from the other candidates in that I am a libertarian communist, uh, democratic socialist. Um, I basically believe that our entire legal framework of property needs to be radically reformed so that land and natural resources are seen as part of the commonweal, part of the national and I suppose international commons. Um, and, you know, I'm a strong believer in privacy. I'm a strong believer in people's right to those things that they need uh, to get by, and for everybody's freedom, so long as others' rights are not impaired. Um, but I think that so long as we have a system where land and resources are just up for grabs, just treated like any other commodity, then you know the majority of people are going to suffer because a small elite is going to inevitably gain a disproportionate control over the planet, which is basically our ecosystem, our life, our survival. I mean, you can say that we have abolished slavery, but if somebody else owns all the land, owns all the resources, and your only means of living on that land and living off those resources is to work for them, then it may not be slavery, it may have a different name, but it's not morally or practically different from slavery. If somebody controls your livelihood in that fundamental a way, then they might as well be your master, and they basically are our masters. Um, of course, a lot of people can do a lot to break that down by growing their own food if they do have a little bit of land, or even if they're renting but they have some space in a window or balcony where they can grow some food. Um, because that's a way in which we are dependent on corporations and the large property holders. If we don't grow our own food, then we're totally dependent on them for survival. Um, but if we start growing our own food, I mean, ultimately, I think the government should help people grow their own food and should plant edible, trees, bushes, forests everywhere. But in lieu of that, or until that happens, I think the more that people can grow their own food, the better. Just to get that much out of the money cycle and that much out of the corporate marketplace. Um, because plenty, bounty is at our fingertips, and it's the system of poverty and our kind of government system basically which blocks it. um, you know Before, without the concept of property, there is no homelessness. I mean, property as we know it, where to even have a little spot on the earth to sleep, you have to buy it, hundreds, thousands of dollars. Um, it's that concept which has created homelessness. There were no homeless in North America in pre-Columbian times. You know, I can speak at least about my own Cherokee ancestors in Appalachia. That and I think generally North American tribes, there was no real concept of property. There was within a nation. Um, within the Cherokee Nation, everybody had an equal right to a spot of earth to you know build their house, grow some corn, some beans, some squash, whatever it was, tobacco, and some people had more extensive estates than others, but everybody had the same rights to the communal land. And I mean, how much have we really improved on that? Every contemporary sort of 17th century through 19th century observer um, said that the indigenous American people, Amerindians, lived more leisurely lives than Europeans did. They didn't have to work as much for their lifestyle. They mixed farming with hunting, probably fishing, and they weren't kind of caught in the same rat race as us. And that was one reason why a lot of the authorities and probably some of the church missionaries considered them to be inferior because they were slothful, because they weren't kind of slaving away all day just to get by or just to accumulate wealth. But I think that after all this time, everything that the Native American, Amerindian elders told us about not chasing after money, and how everything is connected, and how if we hurt the earth, we hurt ourselves. We have to acknowledge that they were right. That the quote unquote modern industrialists, modern capitalists who came in and said, no, you guys are wrong, you need to adopt these ways of, basically the Industrial Revolution and, modern commerce, were wrong, and they've very much destroyed this country. I mean, there can be, a balance, obviously. There can be commerce, and there always was commerce in between nations, between people in the Americas and elsewhere. But we just have to have a strong basis of community and a respect for the earth and for the delicate ecosystem. So those are some of the things that I'm interested in pursuing as President of the United States, and in promoting, basically. Thank you very much.